Hey y'all, and welcome. My name is Kay, and this is my YouTube channel where I share all about my knitting, crocheting, any other crafts that I may be getting up to. Today is Wednesday, January 11th. It is about 9:30 a.m. I have got coffee. I'm surrounded by mail and projects. I've got a full page of notes and we are just ready to dive right in. First off, Happy New Year. I hope that you guys had a great holiday season. I hope that you are all doing well. It has been a couple of weeks since I've been on here. Life has seriously just been insane. Absolutely insane. If you follow me on Instagram, you know some of the things that have been going on. If not, and you want to hear more about it, I will share more about it at the end. Just in case, you know, there are some that are not interested, I will share more about it at the end. But yeah, life has just been nuts. I meant to come back like the first week of January with a new video. I was gonna have like a 2020 review of my knitting video and then maybe a vlog and it just, nope, too much going on. So I'm here today and we're just gonna clump the year 2022 review and a regular podcast episode, Yarnable unboxing. It's all getting put into one today so that I can kind of feel like I'm caught up on all the things that I need to share. And hopefully we'll just kind of get into a good rhythm here with the videos. But yes, so you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as The Crazy Sock Lady. We do have a group on Ravelry for this podcast. There's some threads open over there. I'll be honest, I am horrible about keeping up with everything over there, but it is there if you want to head over and connect with some other sock knitters. There's always some good chatting going on in there. There's a thread for sock help. So definitely head over and check that out if you are interested. I will have links right down below this video in the description box for everywhere that you can find me, as well as links to any Ravelry project pages. Everything that I'm working on has a project page, needles, yarn info, all the things, patterns, everything is over there. And those will be linked below, as well as any shops that I talk about. So what should we start with today? Let's start with the review of 2022. Knitting review. So I went through and figured out how many projects I finished, how many of like different items I finished. So let's chat about that first. Actually, first, let's take a little sip of coffee. I hope you've got your beverage of choice and something to work on and you're settling in for a chat because it could be a long one. Okay, so I went through Ravelry. I did not keep up with my making journal last year. I will say that first off, I did not keep up with it. I have my one from 2021 here because we're going to talk about plans for 2023. So I thought I would pull that out and show you guys that. But I didn't keep up with that. And it was such a fun way in 2021 to track my projects because I am just someone who I love pen, paper, pencil. I love having things tracked that way. Ravelry's great for me to share the links and you guys be able to find all the information, but when it comes to tracking for me, I really prefer things to be in a notebook, pen, paper, you know, all of that. So anyways, I didn't keep up with that, so I did have to resort to Ravelry to scroll through and find everything that I had finished. So my total finished object count for 2022, not counting dishcloths, because I did finish quite a few of those, and I didn't keep track of how many I finished. So this does not include those. I finished 76 total projects in 2022. And let me check. I'm curious. I know I finished less socks. I'm pulling out my journal here from 2021. I'm very curious if I finished, yeah. In 2021, I had a total finished object count of 89. So I knew I knit a little bit less. In 2022, the shop kept me so busy and just, it really ate into that sock knitting times where the breakdown does not add up to the what it did in 2022. So anyways, 76 total finished objects. I knit 67 pairs of socks, 4 sweaters, 2 hats, 1 shawl, and 2 cowls. I did not bring any, like, it would be a crazy long video to go through all of those. So I figure we would just do a rundown of the numbers, and you can always watch past episodes. Go check out Ravelry if you want to see what some of those finished objects were from last year. Leave this up here because we're going to talk about that. So that's the counts from last year. And I know everybody's talking about their knitting goals and their knitting plans for 2023. Do you guys want to know what mine is? Knit what makes me happy. That's it. Knit what makes me happy. Work on what I want to work on. Don't feel obligated to work on things. And I'm not speaking of gift knitting when I talk about this, because you guys, if you've watched for a while, you know I love to knit things for others and gift them, and that's not what I'm speaking of when I talk about this. I think it can be easy. It's been like that for me anyways, with having a YouTube and an Instagram that's focused on my knitting. It can be easy for me to start to feel obligated to finish certain things or to work on certain things because I need to be showing progress on these things and have content to show and a certain amount of finished objects, and it can be so easy to get into that, and in some ways that takes me away from maybe things that I want to be working on, whether it be knitting or I love crocheting. I love plastic canvas, cross stitch, all these things kind of fall to the wayside because I can kind of get in that mindset of I have to be working on things to have content to show here on YouTube, and it has to be knitting or it has to be socks, or I can just kind of allow myself to get in that mindset. So this year, that's my focus, is just if I want to work on it, I'm gonna work on it, and then I'll share it here, and hopefully you guys will be interested, even if maybe it's not socks or it's not knitting at all, it's plastic canvas or it's cross stitch. I hope that you guys will still be around to be interested. Don't get me wrong, there's still going to be mostly knitting because that's what I love the most. But my goal is just to work on what makes me happy this year. And then to share that happiness and those items here with y'all. So that's my only plan. I'm not trying to work through my stash or knit a certain amount of things or do anything like that. I would like to work through some of my stash, but I don't have any plans to do a big stash down. The thing that I've just decided I need to focus on this year with closing the shop last year and kind of de-stressing, like trying to take that stress out of my life of things, it's something I still need to really work on. So this year it's just do what makes me happy. Let go of that stress and that pressure that I tend to be the one to put on myself and just work on what makes me happy. I am going to be tracking a few things this year because I like to do that kind of thing, and sometimes I don't always stick with it, but in 2021 I did stick with it with my making journal, and I found this the other day when I was going through and pulling out some notions for a project, and I was like, man, you did not keep up with that in 2022. I wish that I would have. So I just went through this one a little bit, and it was so fun to me to look through, and I've got like pictures in here of different items that I finished and notes. I won't show you all the pages. There are some things, like I use it as kind of a journal as well, so there's some things like that written in here about like the recipient or what was going on in my life when I was knitting these items. Sweet little niece. So yeah, I really want to do this again this year. I ordered another journal. I have these linked on my Amazon storefront, I think. I will double check. The link for that is below, but I'll double check and make sure that this is linked on there. So I had that blue one. I ordered a green one for this year because I've been so into the greens lately. I haven't started it at all. Not at all. Because I haven't finished anything other than some dishcloths. But the way I kind of worked it last year, I can show you that. Or not last year. Oh my goodness, in 2021. I would just have a page that said the month. This was January. And then, oh gosh, let me just find like an end of the month page here. Need like put little tabs or something. Okay. There it is. So then I would just, and I am not somebody who goes all crazy and like stickers, and so it's pretty bare and basic, but it works. This was like October, so I just did October totals. Total finished, and then a breakdown of like, there was a hat, socks, and then I was keeping a running total at the bottom of the monthly total pages for how many finished objects I'd had in 2021. I need to look through here. I don't have pictures of everything. There's some projects at the end of the year that I didn't get pictures of, but I started just printing them off on freeprints.com instead of using my little printer, just because it was cheaper. Okay, so that's one thing I want to do in 2023. It's not really a goal, I guess, kind of a plan. And then also, I really want to track how many grams I knit. I don't know why that sounds so fun to me, but I really want to track it. And before I had decided to do another making journal, I had this, and I was going to track grams and just different notes about projects in here. So I'm still undecided if I'm gonna, tracking the grams in there would be pretty easy too. I could just weigh each project, put the total on the project page, and then keep a total monthly and then yearly as I go. But I had already started this, so I'm undecided. Maybe I'll just do both. So I had went through all of my works in progress. I did this on the 1st of January. All of my whips, and weighed them so that I have their current weight written in here. And then when they're finished, I can weigh them again and see how much I actually knit in 2023. And then I had started a page for January that has finished objects, grams knit, how many skeins it used, because I do want to track grams knit, and then how many skeins out of my stash. So yeah, I don't know if I will keep up with this as well or just track it in there. It's up in the air at the moment, but I haven't finished anything but dishcloths yet, so there's not a whole lot to track quite yet. Hopefully there'll be some things finished very soon. Okay, I'll make sure those journals are linked in my Amazon storefront. And I think that's all that I wanted to talk about as far as that goes. Finished objects, like I said, it's only been dishcloths, but I do have them here to show you. So I am sitting out in my living area in my basement right now, right outside of my office in the guest room. Dishcloths I've been knitting on the treadmill, which is right over there. I don't know if you can see it. We have like an exercise bike. I can't tell if you can see it in the camera or not, but all of the workout stuff is right there. I knit while I walk. I've had some people say, how do you knit while you run? I don't. I walk. I am a super fast walker, so fast that my husband when we lived in Arizona, he would go on walks with me a lot out there. And he would get kind of frustrated because I walked so fast that he's like, at this point we should just be running. Like, why do you walk this fast? You should just run. So I am a crazy fast walker. So I just walk on the treadmill and knit. Dishcloths has been the focus. Is this all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's one more tucked back there, but I'm not going to reach all the way back there and get it. So as I finish them, I toss them in this chair and then just start another one. I have worked through, I have just a little bit left of this color of Knit Picks Dishy. And I'll do like a scrappy one with some gray and finish off this later on, but I've started on some purple. Did I bring that over here? Yes. Okay, so these are some of the ones that are finished. I have the pattern, it's a free pattern. I have it linked in my Ravelry project page. It's not the grandma's favorite. That's what it looks like, but it's a modification on that. So here it is. It's worked, you start here and then increase and then decrease back down. So I absolutely love this pattern. Love these dishcloths. I gifted quite a few of them around the holidays, and everybody who uses them absolutely loves them. So yeah, this is just Knit Picks Dishy. I have 5 total, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 5 total of that done. The ends still need woven in. I have a stack down here on the bottom shelf of my end table, and I'm just gonna go through here sometime soon and weave in all those ends, and then I'll set them aside and have them to give as gifts, or as people say they need more, or whatever the case may be. I am currently trying to work through my cotton yarn, dishcloth yarn stash. It is 100% cotton yarn. That's what I like to use. I have this purple that I'm working on right now. I have this skein I'm currently working from, and then I also have one more of this, and that's it for the little skeins of Dishy. I have a cone of gray that I have worked some off of, and then I have a cone of, it's like a Christmas yarn, but I don't remember where I got it from. It's not Knit Picks Dishy. When I get it out to work on it, I'll show you guys, because I am just going to keep working through those. That's going to be my treadmill knitting until I've completely worked through my cotton yarn, which they don't take that long. So I don't feel like it'll take me that long to work through it, but we'll see. So this is what I'm currently working on. I am on the decreases now. The needles I use for this, I think these are a 24-inch circular. They're Chalgu red lace. I use a US 8 5mm. And I just have it sitting, my treadmill has 2 cup holders, one on each side. So I have my water in one, and then in the other, I just have this project bag. It's a Christmas bag that was a gift from a friend. There's no shop. She doesn't have a shop. So yeah, I just have it in there. I have some scissors in there, and then I have some scraps in here too. This is what's left of that kind of red maroon, and then I have some of the yellow left too. So I really enjoy working these up, and they're great to give as gifts. So that's just going to keep being my treadmill knitting until it's gone, and then I'll probably just start knitting socks on the treadmill, because that's what I did before I got so focused on the dishcloths, was I would work on socks while I was on there. And I typically I'm gonna have to pay attention to how long it takes me to knit one. I walk usually an hour on the treadmill every morning, so I need to see how many days. Like, usually I walk Monday through Friday, sometimes Monday through Saturday, so I need to see how many dishcloths I get done in a week. That's all for the finished objects. We kind of went into works in progress with the purple dishcloth. Oh, the color for that, I should tell you that. Do I have the tag? I don't know if that's that one. I have 2 tags in here. I have one that's pomegranate and one that's mulberry. So that would have been those right there. Pomegranate and mulberry. I did not, I should have said this at the beginning, I did not bring over every work in progress that I have. They are all right here, because this is where I keep them. I have a basket over here, but I started so many things in December, and then this, like the beginning of the month, this month, there's been so many things started. So if you want to kind of see things that I started, things I finished, things I worked on since the last regular episode, all that's going to be on the Vlogmas episodes, which if you haven't watched those, they're so fun. It's just little snippets of my day leading up until Christmas, and the last vlog I did was Christmas Day. So yeah, I didn't bring over all the Advent projects that I started. None of them have been finished aside from the Advent socks. They'll be finished at some point, but I'm just enjoying working on what makes me happy, and when I work on those, you'll see them. So anyways, I am working on a new design. I have this in a bag from Daisy Girl and Company, one of her peekaboo bags. And I have 1 sock done. Where's my sock blocker? So this new design will not be out until February 1st. But one of them is done. I'm using Moonglow Yarn Co's it's a new sock set that's coming out, I believe, this Friday. Today's Wednesday. I think it's coming out this Friday. She's having an update for those. I will have her linked below so you can head over and see the details on that. But here is the first sock. This is her vintage Valentine sock set. It is a 100 gram skein of yarn. That's what I have. You could use a 50 gram skein. I think she has that option as well. But a full skein and then 5 different mini skeins that are 10 grams. So that's what I used for this. First sock's done. Second sock, I am through the heel. And just working away on that. So that, like I said, that'll be out February 1st. It's super fun. I'm gonna have a video that will have some tutorials for the different stitches. There is nothing complicated, but you guys know I always like to include a little tutorial to help you along. And I also will show you how I managed my ends. So you don't have to cut the main collar at all throughout. It's just carried up the inside. And then I will show you, I have the tutorial for weaving in ends as you go, so you can definitely go ahead and check that out. But I'll also show you in the tutorial that again. Just that'll all be included within the sock pattern when you purchase that. So more details on that to come as we go this month. I've got to get that wrapped up and get all the pictures done and everything ready for that. Oh, and I talked about this on Vlogmas, but the Candy Cane Stripes sock pattern was released on December 1st. So I will have that linked down below if you haven't grabbed a copy of that yet. It's another fun way to use up a main skein and then some mini skeins, and that one's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that one. I actually have one of the samples, like the very first one I started working on the pattern with, that I need to finish. So that's a work in progress still, but I haven't touched it, so I didn't bring it out here to show you. I have been working on a couple of things for my niece. So I have, this is in a bag by Blueberry Fields. There's no shop for this. She just, at least I don't think she has a shop. I just purchased it through her Instagram. She posted she had some for sale and to contact her if you wanted to purchase them. So I purchased this that way. It's got a handle back here, super cute. Oh, I thought I Kitchenered that last night. I guess I did not. So this is some mittens that I'm working on for my niece. She requested some rainbow mittens. So I have one done except for the thumb. I need to finish that thumb up. Then here's the second one. I just need to Kitchener that and then do the thumb on it as well. So I could potentially have these done today. If not today, tomorrow, because I'm kind of making these a bit of a priority, these two works in progress for her, so that I can get them off the needles and then start her some new socks probably, because she's really wanting lots of socks right now. But yes, she requested rainbow mittens, so I had to do it. This pattern is the world's simplest mittens, I think it's mittens, by Tin Can Knits. And I'm doing the adult small. The world's simplest mittens is what it is, yes. Yes, adult small. I did not make this portion from the thumb to the decreases as long as it said to, though. I did shorten that a bit because it looked like it was gonna be way too big for her, but circumference-wise, I think it'll be great. And I think she'll still have some growing room in every area of the mitt. So the yarn I'm using for this is Tia's Terrific Threads. So the yarn that I'm using for this is DK weight. The pattern comes with instructions for fingering, DK worsted, and chunky. It is on her Splendid DK base, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and the colorway name is If You're Happy. So I need to get these done. and get them in the mail. I also, the next project is for Lily as well. Did you guys hear Emmy? Emmy, why are you crying? What's the matter? What's the matter? I don't know what she's crying about. Sometimes she gets very sad when Wyatt goes to school, and she does this for a while. Okay, the next work in progress is socks for Lily. I have this in a bag from the kitchen sink shop. And I am working these 2 at a time, toe up. Are y'all shocked? So here's these. I'm going to do an afterthought heel on them. So I've got my markers placed back here. And I'll just do an afterthought heel the same way that I have a tutorial for that, and I'll just put it in the same way I do for that. But I'm on the cuffs at the top. So the yarn I'm using is Knit Picks. I know this is stroll fingering. It's as crazy green as it's showing on the screen. I know it's stroll fingering. I don't have the label tag, so I have no idea what the name of the color is. But it's just some leftover yarn I have from I don't even know what. The self-striping is Knit Picks Felici in the Hibiscus colorway. So I split, so the Knit Picks Felici is a 50-gram ball. I split it in half fairly evenly. This was what was left of one ball. And I just went until I had used up all of the one ball that I had. So yeah, I think she's gonna love these. They're a little crazy with this green with these colors, but it kind of works for a fun pair of socks for a 7-year-old, and I think she's gonna be super happy with it. So I'm very, very close. Let's see. I have about 6 more rounds. I'll probably only do 15 rounds of ribbing. So I have about 6 more rounds, and then I will do a Jenny Surprisingly, is that right? Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off. I haven't done that in forever, but that's what I'm gonna do for these. That's what I love. I know a lot of people have issues with it flaring too much, but my tip for that, what's always worked for me before, it's a stretchy bind off. So I think a lot of people think you want that to be super loose, so you need to do it very loosely, but you don't, because doing it's gonna be stretchy. So you just do it with your normal tension, and don't worry about trying to be super loose while you're doing it. And that helps with the flaring. And when it's on, you can't tell if it's flaring or not, so it's fine. But that's what I'll do for these, and hopefully have the mitts and these done by tomorrow, and then I can ship them out on Friday, is the hope. I have another pair of socks that's done for her as well. So I have a couple I can send off to her, and then I can start some new ones. So I do not have a pattern that I'm following for like the toe, for toe up. I'm just kind of winging it and making it up as I go, in the hopes that later on this year, there's no date for this yet. I talked about it on Instagram, and I've had so many people ask when it's gonna be out. And in all honesty, I don't know. I don't have a set plan. Probably the summer, maybe before, maybe after. I don't know. Whenever I feel like I've mastered it, because I'm not just gonna like, oh, I did something once and I'm gonna put up a tutorial for it, because then I don't know the ins and outs of it, and I don't know if someone's made a mistake, like what they maybe could have done, because I haven't worked on it enough to know all of those things. Toe up for me has been such a struggle because I've never really found what I like fit-wise and what I like to do. But I think I've nailed it down with this toe. I think I've got it 100%. So now it's just a matter of me doing it quite a few times and getting comfortable with it. And I feel like that's the only way you can properly teach something, is if you really know what you're doing, you've done it a lot, then you can answer all the questions, and you know more about the process. So that's where I'm at with that, and there will be a tutorial for it, but I just don't have a date for that yet. This year is really working on things that make me happy and focusing on family first. So That's a change from last year where it was like shop, 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 shop. I'm really making changes this year to a lot of those things. So anyways, a little tangent there, but that'll be out whenever I feel I've got it down and I'm ready to record it. But I am really enjoying it, so you'll be seeing more of that. I actually have another sock I cast on toe up, but I think it's buried a little bit in the basket. And that one I will hopefully be working more on the gusset area. And I've had a lot of people suggest, oh, just do a tutorial for this heel or that heel, but I like to work it up and know that I'm doing something maybe not new, maybe it's something somebody else has done, but my brain needs to work it out and figure it out myself and not just say, someone else did this, that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do a tutorial for it. That's just not how my brain works for those things. So I'm gonna start working on the gusset as well, but toe up afterthought heel, I think I've got it with this pair, and now it's just a matter of doing it more so that I can really, really teach it and help anyone with it. Okay, I'm working on a pair of socks for Eric. He has a birthday coming up later this month. This bag is another one from a friend who does not have a shop. And I have the first sock done. Let me pull my sock blocker back up here. I think this actually might be Eric's sock blocker. I have a larger size for his socks, and I think, yep, that's what this is. So this yarn is from Arcane Fiberworks. The colorway is You're a Mean One. I love the Grinch, so I love this colorway. And I don't remember when I finished this first sock, but I started this, I think, in December. I'm doing a fully ribbed sock. Aside from the sole portion of the sock, I did leave that stockinette, but everything else is knit 2, purl 2 ribbing. All the way down the leg, across the top of the foot. And I am on the second sock. For Eric's socks, I use a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle, and I knit or cast on 64 stitches for his socks, same as mine. So these are great. I knit a pair of socks throughout December for my mother-in-law that were knit 2, purl 2 rib all the way down the leg and the top of the foot, and gifted those to her. I just love it. I love knitting them. I have a couple of pairs that I don't know that they were knit 2, purl 2 rib. I think they were like knit 3, purl 1 or something like that. But I love the fit of them so much that, I don't know, I've kind of been in the mood to knit a lot of ribbed socks. So I thought I would show this. This has been something that's been getting a lot of work when we are out and about, or if we go out to lunch or Eric's driving, I take this. So these will probably be done, I would say, by the end of this weekend at the latest. What else do we have? Oh, I started a temperature blanket, y'all. I did. And I'm super excited about it. Okay, so I originally saw Diane of Suburban Stitcher was doing, I think the pattern is called Climate Wrap. I will link it down below. And that is what inspired this. So I shared this with my friends Jenny and Kristen and I just kind of like dove right in head first that we were gonna do this. And she had little charts made for us, or she made them, not like she had someone else make them. She made little charts for us for our yarn, and I'll show those in a minute, and tracking our temperatures. And we spent this past weekend picking out yarn. We FaceTimed, picked out yarn together. We wound up our yarn, got our little cards ready. It was a process. In total, I'm using 20 skeins of yarn that I pulled from my stash, which felt so nice. Now, some of them won't get used as much. I'll talk about that more in a minute, but yeah, it's gonna be pretty awesome. So the bag I have this in, this is the first time I've gotten to use this. I picked this up at Wool Gathering from the Fat Squirrel. such a pretty bag. And there's not much in here right now. Like, it's massive. I think I have like 3 cakes of yarn in here. But so Kristen and I had originally started the climate wrap. That is what we were going to do. And we both got going on it. I was the first one to say something. I was like, Kristen, I don't know that I like this. And it wasn't the pattern. It was just, I was like, I don't think I'm going to keep up with doing this patterning each day, because it wasn't just like a garter stitch or something. There were actual like patterns. I messed up and I had to think back, and like the mess up on the previous day's color had completely thrown off where everything was lining up on the next day. And I was like, I'm not going to like this. I just know I'm not. This is something I'm going to do every day throughout a year, it needs to be completely mindless. I can't have something where it's like, oh my gosh, I made a mistake yesterday. Now I have like 4 rows to do today of a pattern, not just of plain knitting or something. So, and she was like, okay, I was thinking the same thing. I'm glad you said something. So we changed our mind on doing something like that with patterns, and the ends were an issue too. I'll show you that in a second. But we just decided to do 2 rows of knitting, and it's just going to be a garter stitch blanket. So here is my progress so far. Did I add in? Yes, I did yesterday's 2 rows. It's been the same color for 3 days in a row. But obviously I haven't done today's yet, because you do the high temperature of the day. So it'll be kind of something I do. I could do it later in the evening if it's not supposed to get any warmer, or do it the next day. But I am caught up to today. I just have to do today's. So getting a little blown out, but isn't it so fun? This is going to be so great. We cast on 270 stitches, I believe it is on my Ravelry project page. 270 stitches. And you can see where we were doing the pattern down here. And we both just left it. So there was like a border that you did, and then it was day 1. So I don't remember how many rows of the border. That's garter stitch. Then day 1 starts. And then after that, it was just like, nope, okay. We're just gonna do 2 rows of knitting every day and be done. So the ends were also an issue because of the patterning. You couldn't do the weave and Steven. The way it was done, I'm not gonna give anything away because it is a paid for pattern, but it just didn't work, or I couldn't figure out how to make it work so that things were not showing on the stitches that you didn't want them to be stitching or to be showing. It's almost like a little bobble type stitch. So it just didn't look right. And I was like, I'm not going to want to weave in that many ends. I still have these down here to weave in, but that's not very many. So now I'm just doing the weave in as I go. I have that tutorial here on YouTube. So no ends up through here. And I'll just do that as I go along to make it easier. I am using a US 3.25 millimeter. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we cast on 270 stitches. And we're knitting 2 rows a day. So the pattern does give you, suggestions on a chart for your temperatures and a chart for your colors. So that's kind of the inspiration Kristen had for when she did these. So here is my color chart. I have a picture of this on Ravelry on the project page. So if you want to see that, zoom in, see any of the colors, you can do that, because I have the yarn dyer and the colorway name listed. And then over on this side, it's probably going to be hard to see on here because it's going to blow it out, but over on this side, it has the temperature range. So the first one is 9 degrees and below, and this is 9 degrees Fahrenheit. And then the second one is 10 to 14, 15 to 19, 20 to 24, and it just goes up all the way to 100 and above. So there are going to be some colors that are maybe not used at all, or not used like maybe one day, the 9 below and the 100 and above. Looking at last year's temperatures, the highest day we had was 95, and that was a couple of times. And yeah, that was the highest day. So unless we have a super hot summer, Hopefully we don't. We won't use those. I won't use that 100 and above. And the lowest, I don't think we had any that would have been the 9 below. So that's what I used for the border. I think I used the 9 below for the border when I was going to be doing the wrap pattern. So yeah, I'll try to do it. Let's see if I can show this here and it not be too blown out. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I've just got little snippets. I used the yarn you have to cut when you're winding the yarn. So when you put it on your Swift, that's what I clipped off and used for this, and just did a hole punch there to attach that. And then I've got yarn dyer, colorway name, what goes with the temperature ranges there. And then we also have, for recording the highest temperature per day, a chart. So I've just been putting the temperature over here, and then once I knit it in, I cross it off, because I could see how it would be easy to be like, did I do, especially if I get a couple days behind, what day did I end on? And I don't want to have to sit here and count. So I'm crossing it off after I do the day, knit those 2 rows for the day. So I'm super excited about this. I'm somebody who totally like geeks out a little bit about planning and doing these kinds of things. So this was a lot of fun to plan. It did take a while and winding up all that yarn, but it was so fun to go through my stash, and we kind of tried to focus on like pulling out some of the skeins we've had in our stash for a very long time. And it's funny, I don't know if you would have been able to tell in here, but mine, it ended up, it's all sparkle yarn. I don't knit with that very often. I don't pull it out for socks. I don't know, it's just not something when it comes to sock knitting that I gravitate towards using. I think it's gorgeous, and I love all these yarns that I've picked, but it ended up, all 20 skeins. A lot of them are older skeins, and they're all sparkle. I only have 2 skeins of sparkle left in my stash. They're both a homespun house, and those are the only 2 sparkle left. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I think it's gonna be something so fun to do, and it'll be easy to catch up on as long as I don't fall too far behind. It's such a mindless, now that I'm just knitting 2 rows, it's so mindless and perfect. I have been doing it when we sit down to watch TV in the evening. I think that was all about that. I'm pretty sure. Okay, this next one kind of brings us into mail, because I started it with the January Yarnable. So you guys have heard me talk about Yarnable so many times. It's my favorite yarn subscription service for full skeins of yarn. I absolutely love it. So I opened the January Yarnable already. I have started knitting with it already because I really want to this year work through the yarn in the month I receive it, and not just open it, oh it's gorgeous, and then it sits in my stash and I don't knit with it for forever. I really want to try to work with it. So the theme for Yarnable for this month is Party Like It's 2023. And in the Yarnable, you get a card that tells you a little bit about the box, about all of the extras that you receive in the box, and then you have a scratch off discount code that you can use at Hypnotic Yarn for that month that you receive it. So normally with Yarnable, there are different options for what weight yarn you can get, how much yarn you can get. I typically get 1 skein of fingering weight. This month I got 1 skein of a full skein and then a 50-gram skein, and they are so beautiful. So if you haven't opened yours yet, I'm sure everybody's received them and opened them. If you haven't, look away. Here are the colors for this month. They are getting so blown out. That's a little bit more accurate. Yeah, they're just getting blown out. This is more of a deeper color than it's showing on the screen, but they're so beautiful. I knew I wanted to knit with them immediately. So the new design that I'm working on, I cast on to knit another sample. So not much done yet at all. And I think it's going to be fun to work it up this way because the one I'm using with the mini skein set, you're, you know, changing those minis throughout. And this is going to be my main color. And then for the like little striped sections, I'm going to use just this full skein over here. So I think that's going to be great and a great option for using up even like 250-gram skeins, some leftovers. I think it's going to be really fun to show it worked up that way. So that's the yarn for January from Yarnable. And then there were some extras. Let's see here. We have got bath bombs, set of 4, which Wyatt will probably steal from me. I'm not much of a bath person, but he loves baths. I prefer to take a shower. So these are from Goddess Sea Minerals, yes. They're pomegranate scented bath bombs. Then we have a fancy edible glitter packet by Fancy Sprinkles. It says, make your beverages sparkle with flavorless edible glitter. Interesting. I have the champagne rose gold. That's very interesting. And then what does it say where this last one's from? This is by 3 by the Sea. It is just a leatherback progress keeper that says 2023. Oh, I should put this, let me take that out of there. I should put this on my temperature blanket. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set that right over there so I can put it on my temperature blanket. So those are the extras this month. So Yarnable is only open usually like a handful of times a year. They open up to new members. They are actually going to be opening up to new members on January 14th. So if you are interested in Yarnable, actually right now, I cannot believe I was going to forget this. They have a giveaway going on right now. So I will have the link posted down below. If you head over there right now, you can put your email in and sign up to be entered to win a year's worth of Yarnable, the entire year. And you can win that not only for you, but for a friend. So head over, sign up, have your friends go sign up. It's so much fun that they are giving away an entire year of Yarnable. And I can't believe I almost forgot to mention that. So make sure you do that. I think I actually wrote it in here. It closes January 13th. So you have a couple more days to head over and get entered for that giveaway. And then yes, they're going to open to new members on January 14th. And if you do sign up with Yarnable, you can get $5 off of your first box if you use the code SOCKLADY. So link will be down below. I'll also put the coupon code down in the description box as well. I just have a couple more things I received in the mail. I got my row 1 mini skeins. Here's the bag that they come in. There's always a little packet with some, I've already opened these, some packet with some information about it, a treat, which I don't remember what it was, but I do know I ate it already. It's been a long, we're only on day 11, it's been a long 11 days of January. And you get a little stitch marker. This one is mittens. Don't know that you'll be able to see it. It's getting blown out in the package there. But there's always a slip of paper in here that tells you about the dyer of the month, because row 1 is a mini skein subscription service. They do a different yarn dyer each month and you get a packet of mini skeins. So definitely probably get a lot of glare, but you get a packet of mini skeins. Each mini skein is labeled with the yarn dyer's name and the colorway name. The dyer for this month is Woolen Women Fibers. So the slip tells you about their company, tells you all the colorway names, the yarn info. It's so well put together every time. These yarns are beautiful. And right now I'm working on a granny square blanket. I have it over there. I won't pull it out here to show you, but I'm working on a granny square blanket using up all of my, or some of, I probably won't use all of my row 1 minis, but some of my row 1 minis. I also, Molly of a Homespun House sent me her, I don't remember if it was like her December Hygge box. It was one of her Hygge boxes. And I don't remember if it was like holiday Hygge or December Hygge. But she sent me her Hygge box and it is so good. I've gotten these before from her and I just absolutely love them. So this one included a project bag by Knitting Unicorns. Look at that fabric. So pretty. Nice drawstring bag. There was a copy of Lane magazine. This is the winter 2023. Save the yarn for last. We have some fun stickers. There's a little pouch here. The fabric's very cute on this bag. Christmas trees. Just dump everything out here. We've got some needle protectors, little Santas, or no, not Santas, snowmen. Little snowmen. Set those over there so I can use them. Those would be good on my temperature blanket too. We have a Progress Keeper from Lindsay of Simply Serving. Cute little fox maybe on a sled with a present. He's so sweet. I should have opened all these tiny little things beforehand. A little, you could use this in like a journal or a book or something. It's like the magnet goes together. And then there is some chapstick from Buck Naked Soap Company. It is Vanilla Mint Lip Butter. I can't wait to use that. There was also a candle. Let's show that next. This is Christmas Cottage, made in the Pacific Northwest. It's orange peel, cinnamon, ginger, cypress, clove, pine, and fir. And it smells so good. I actually have the other candle. I got another one of her Hygge boxes forever ago, and I kind of been hoarding, like, not really hoarding, but saving the candle, and it's sitting over there. So I've been using it, but here's this one. And then there was some pottery. I think she always has pottery included, and I just love this. So over Vlogmas, we had a like Advent candlestick, like a countdown stick, and burnt a little bit each day when I remembered. So I've been loving having a candle on the table, and can't wait to use this on our table now as well for a candlestick. It's so pretty. And of course, there's a skein of yarn. This is Your Mean One. You know I love it. It's Grinch inspired, and it is perfect. So, so pretty. Love all those different speckles in there. So that was her box. I could not believe it when I opened it and saw all of those things. So many fun things. Last thing I received in the mail was so sweet. So this will kind of bring us into life stuff. And I will talk more about exactly what happened, but Wyatt got hurt at a wrestling meet, and I kept my calm, but I was terrified. And I was texting my friend Lindsay about it, sending her pictures and updates, and just like somewhat freaking out a little bit. And she, like, we talked about, I just need to go home. Like, once we get settled at home, all this is done, I need to go de-stress, maybe have a drink, and maybe order some yarn, lots of yarn. And Lindsay said there may already be some on its way to you. So she ordered me a skein of yarn, and I'm not an emotional person. It just about made me cry. It was so sweet. It had been such a rough and emotional day. But the yarn she ordered was Bad Sheep yarn. And the colorway is Spiced Currant. It is so beautiful. It's a little bit more accurate if I'm back here, but so, so pretty. I love it. I mean, it is perfectly my color. This is on their fingering weight 75/25 superwash merino nylon base, and this is hand dyed in North Pole, Alaska. Beautiful. This, I was gonna say socks. This would make a great Musselburgh though. So that was so sweet. And then I got it in the mail and it just made my day. But that kind of brings us to life stuff now that I've talked about Wyatt a bit. If you follow me on Instagram, you know what happened, but he did get injured at a wrestling meet. He was in the middle of a match and he was just kind of like rolled and he was rolled and like slammed on the mat, and his shoulder hit just the right spot, I guess. I don't know exactly, but it completely snapped his collarbone in half. He was a champ. Like, the kid kept wrestling. We had zero clue he was hurt until the whistle blew that the minute 30 of that like round or whatever was done. And still, like, when he got up, he just kind of like felt his shoulder, and then we saw him like, we didn't see this at the time. We didn't really notice that anything was wrong. This was watching the playback because Eric was recording. Like, you see him feel this broken one, feel the good one, and like he still put his mouth guard back in and was ready to go back in. And you kind of see him try to shake it off. And I think at that point he said he realized, like, okay, something is wrong. And he did say he felt it and heard it snap, but that just the adrenaline, I imagine. I've, knock on wood, never injured myself like that, but I imagine just the adrenaline of the match itself, it didn't hit him at first what he had done. So thankfully they have sports medicine on staff at these events. It makes me so happy that they do. So they immediately checked him out, and still at this point we're like, maybe it's nothing serious. Eric said he kind of thought this is something, because of what he could tell was going on down there. I was just kind of like, maybe it's not that bad. Just pulled a muscle or something. Landed the wrong way, like. But then I saw the sports medicine guy ask if his parents were there, and I was like, oh no. It's never good when the sports medicine people want to see your parents. So yeah, we ended up getting an x-ray, and then going straight to the orthopedist office to get him checked out. And this was, it'll be 2 weeks this Friday that this happened. We've had one recheck so far, and so far the bones have not, because my immediate thought was he was going to need surgery, but apparently the collarbone they'll fuse back together. Never end to end, but they will fuse together like where they overlap, because his are overlapping. So far they have not started fusing back together. So the doctor said, you know, we can wait 2 more weeks, see how they are at another recheck. So we go back later this month to have them rechecked and see if they have started fusing back together. So the hope is to avoid surgery. Lots of reasons I won't really go into, and all of those things that the doctor said. But the hope is to avoid surgery and that they start fusing back together. But he's doing good. He has he's such a good kid. He's going to all the practices, all the meets, still watching, cheering his team on from the sidelines. I was blown away that he's even going to practices and just sitting and watching. He loves wrestling. And this was his first year. For those that may not be aware, this was his first year wrestling, and he loves it. He's committed, and he's ready to get back out on the mats. But he's got a long recovery ahead from what the doctor said this week. So he's kind of bummed. He did get cleared to play the guitar. He just has to keep the shoulder still, but he can take the sling off. He plays, you know, he's left-handed, but he plays right-handed, and it's his left shoulder. So he's good to do that as long as it's not causing him any pain. So he did that, not last night, the night before last, he got to play for the first time since it had happened. So he was excited about that because he got a new guitar with his Christmas money. The day that he got hurt, his new guitar came. So that was a bummer. But anyways, he's doing good. I probably won't go into too much detail about all of you know, the things going forward. I've shared some on Instagram and it can kind of get overwhelming in a sense. I actually made posted a story about it the day of his doctor's appointment this week, and then I took it down because some of the messages I was getting, I think everybody means well, but some of them, when you're a mom that already can tend to get kind of anxious about and nervous about things, and then hearing that the bones have not started fusing back together yet, it can kind of get overwhelming with all of the thoughts and instructions on you should be doing this and that, and in that picture he's doing this and he shouldn't be doing that, and just, I'm someone who already gets anxious, and we're doing everything his doctor says to do. So that's the advice we're going with, is his doctor's advice, and we're doing everything that he says that Wyatt should or shouldn't be doing. Like, it's all being done. So, yeah, I probably won't share too many details. Wyatt doesn't like a lot of his life shared anyways. So, yeah, I probably won't share too much going forward. I'll just let you guys know how he's doing here and there. And you might see snippets of him in vlogs, because I am hoping to do some vlogs coming up here soon. But yes, that was kind of our craziness that happened on the Friday. Yeah, well, like I said, it was 2 weeks ago this coming Friday. It was the Friday before New Year's Eve that happened. So our New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, like, they were pretty calm and chill because I was just a nervous wreck about him having a bone literally snapped in half. Yeah, I was a nervous wreck. This is our, knock on wood, our first broken bone for any of our kids. I've never broken a bone, so I have zero experience with it. So I was pretty nervous about it. But yeah, the kiddos are back in school now. The holidays were good. We had a great Christmas. I hope that you guys did as well, and a great New Year's. And my mother-in-law came into town the Wednesday before Wyatt got hurt to watch his matches on Thursday and Friday. So Grandma was here for that. But she was happy to get to watch him wrestle. She had not yet. And she went home on New Year's Day. So we had a nice visit with her. But that's kind of all that's been going on around here. Just trying to, like, I feel like I've finally pretty much got the house back in order just after, you know, not doing the shop anymore and trying to get things back in order, and then the holidays and then getting things back in order from that. So I think I finally got the house back in order and settling into a bit of a routine. But I hope that you all are doing well. Thank you so much for watching this episode today, for sticking through it till the end if you did, because I have a feeling it's going to be a long one. There was a lot to catch up on. Oh, and I was going to do a giveaway this episode and totally forgot until now. So we're going to do a giveaway just for a yarn and goodie bundle out of the prize bin in there, because it's overflowing and I have no more room for any prizes. So we need to do some giveaways. So we're going to do a giveaway this episode. All you have to do is comment down below and let me know if you have any plans, knitting wise, plans, goals, resolutions, whatever going around your knitting that you have for 2023, let me know below. If you don't have any, you can just say that you don't. But like I said, mine is just to work on what brings me joy. Work on what makes me happy. Don't let yourself feel obligated or have that mindset that you have to be producing certain things for content. Just work on what makes me happy. That's my plan. I think it's a good one. I encourage you all to do the same. Just work on what makes you happy, whatever that may be. But I'm going to get off here and clean up this mess and get this video edited, and I will see you guys again soon here on YouTube. Until then, make sure you're following me on Instagram if you're not already. That I do post fairly, I mean, usually daily, in the stories at least, about what I'm working on and different things like that. So I will see you guys next time. Until then, happy knitting. Bye.